After being served such a tough loss, maybe Method Black should hop onto the store right now and support the surprise pool and get some fun toys to cheer themselves up. That's what I would probably do in a situation like that. But they're going to have to jump straight in to another series. Luckily for them, it's a team they've beaten 15 times in a row. Not 15 series, but 15 maps. Will change my mind. Be able to change up the rhythm of this series. Zico, what do you think they need to do to actually fall out of this pattern of continually losing to Method Black?
Swap comp, at least swap specs, swap something.
Change
swap
something.
to Swapsy. Swap, just do something.
Yeah, just change something, right? What has been done in the past, the strategy doesn't work. I think they know that, though, as well, Supatis. I don't think they feel like they're on the cusp of making what they've been doing work. I just feel like they feel slightly cornered.
Yeah, I mean, they've spent this entire season polishing their Rogue Mage Druid to perfection, and even still is not enough to overcome the disadvantage to the composition that Method Black has crafted, and also plays at a very high level as well. I mean, we've seen teams like ABC try and pick it up and then have it totally fall apart. I think Change My Mind even beat ABC on the same composition that Method Black has been running, that is 15-0. So there's credit where credit is due. Method Black definitely plays composition at the highest level currently, I would say, and Change My Mind as well. But it's just a situation where you can't beat the strategy that's employed, so you need to make a change. I think that maybe the least impactful change would be in Poike playing a different healer, potentially. We saw in North America, Jamili's team, the Mew Mew Kitty Cats, be able to beat the Super Frogs Death Knight Demon Hunter with the Paladin Fire Mage Rogue variant. Now, perhaps Snuts' team is not nearly as prepared as Method Black, but at least then there's a little bit more of a surprise, a bit more extra damage. Even though the Paladin in the late game is disadvantaged, you could just add a bit of a surprise effect and try and get a kill through that manner. But I think it's unlikely. They've only played Rogue Mage Druid and only played Shadow Priest. I guess that's not true. They played Rogue Shadow Priest Shaman and then lost abysmally with it. So maybe I think it's unlikely we see that come back again. Maybe Valet in a blind pick. They try and play a wizard composition, find a way to win with that. But overall, the compositions that they have prepared, I don't think they're enough.
Yeah, I think that it's pretty fun to also think about what you brought up with the idea of maybe they look to NA. I feel like this year more than ever, we've really seen the two regions trading ideas quicker than they typically do.
Yeah, I mean, I think this year more than ever, like you said, with the way the Cups have been played, both regions are playing in the same weekend, so they can instantly see if the North American team has figured out an answer.
You had a cough drop?
I have a cough drop.
Yeah, I didn't realize you had the cough drop. I would have asked you the question.
No, I'm good. It's gone now. But yeah, this year more than ever, like we kind of said, with North America and Europe playing at the same time, it's been easier for these teams to sort of take compositions, get ideas from the other regions. And something that's kind of interesting with the way the spring finals are going to be playing out is the North American teams will play against the European teams in the first round, and if a European team like Change My Mind can just avoid losing, they might avoid another European team until the grand finals.
Yeah, to follow up on that, do you have any extra cough drops?
Later. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Zico, when we do start to think about the rest of the year right now, I brought up the idea when we looked at these European teams. I actually feel like we're seeing just Wildcard Gaming perform on their own level, right? They're up at the top of the pyramid. Nobody is really exactly where they're at right now. Underneath them, you have Method Black. It's close, but as of right now, Wildcard Gaming just seems to be the best team. Then you have right behind them Change My Mind. Change My Mind, it might be a little bit more of a disparity to those top two teams than we see those top two teams have with each other. But what happens when we throw that pyramid into North America? Where does North America fall right now? We know three of the teams that are going to be on land. How do you think they do?
The thing is, the best team in North America was Super Frogs, and they're playing Destro Warlock-based compositions, and they just got nerfed. Whereas Wildcard Gaming, they're playing those DK, Windwalker type of compositions that really haven't been touched too much. So right now, just strictly compositionally, I would give the edge to Wildcard Gaming as the best team currently. And when we look over to North America, I think that the boys are going to be running away with the season. At least if we are in a scenario where nothing is going to be changing up until that spring LAN, then I think the boys are going to be the best team in North America, despite what the point standings are saying, and despite what the point standings are saying in Europe. I think Wildcard Gaming is going to be the best team as well, because the compositions have changed in that regard. And I really think that the reason why I think Wildcard Gaming is just the best team right now, period, is because Looney is the best player on Mistweaver and Druid. Like, I don't care about who is the best Druid or who is the best Mistweaver. I want to know who is the best at playing both of those at the absolute highest level. And right now, I honestly wasn't that impressed by Goreki's Mistweaver, but he is super good on that Druid, right? And the same thing can be said for Chaz. He looked amazing on his Resto Druid all throughout the season, but his Mistweaver, in that one game we've seen it so far, didn't look that great. So that's really what they need to work on for that LAN.
Well, I think it's very important to look at it that way, because let's say, just for this argument, that Chaz is the best Druid. Let's say he's the best Druid. Looney can definitely go toe-to-toe with him, even if you say he's a little bit worse, but he can then play the Monk at the same exact level. That is a huge asset to have. And right now, if you're an NA fan, I agree with Zico. The boys are probably going to be your best hope at LAN. LAN is so crucial to get to, because that is going to give the first spot of the year to go all the way to the finals. And now the gates are open. Change My Mind decides to spice things up by bringing in Valet on the blind. He's instantly receiving pressure.
Curious to see how it plays out with Minpoike on Druid rather than Restoration Shaman. Good life grip from Valet, pulling Minpoike out of the Mana Rift. Nice shackle on the Abomination as well. Shadow Priest utility definitely used effectively in the starting stages of this fight, but then moving forward, Valet is still just getting pressured right now. They drop the smoke bomb. They go for an early kill on Raikou. Gladiators Maledicts, multiple incoming, huge stun combo. Trinket Darkness, barely enough for Raikou to stay alive. Maybe not even enough. Blur as well. Multiple defensive cooldowns pulled with the anti-magic zone. Basically everything except Chaz's cooldowns. That's the most pressure we've really seen from Change My Mind facing Method Black, but inevitably they did not net a kill. So they've got a window of time to try and find one. They've got Vendetta. They could make a move with that. Acro is pressuring Chaz, trying to make him make a mistake in terms of cooldown management, maybe bait an Iron Bark or something, but not finding it. Just running around the corner. They go for the swap to Chaz. Can Valet get over there? I don't think that he can, and I doubt that Acro is going to be able to solo Chaz. That was a decent swap with no Gladiator's Medallion, but without the Shadow Priest support, due to the fact that Valet is just pinned in center field, they do not have enough damage to push Chaz over.
Definitely not. And then Poike gets gripped into an Asphyxiate stun. Mana Rift lands on him. Mana in favor still of Change My Mind. Change My Mind putting in a lot of pressure. I think that last Vendetta would have been much better placed onto Raikou if they could have got some crowd control onto Chaz, got the Vendetta attempt onto Raikou. I think he could have easily fallen. He didn't have any sort of defensive cooldowns whatsoever, so Change My Mind, I think just a bit of a targeting error there on their last attempt on Chaz, but you can't really blame them. Pressuring down the Restoration Druid is usually pretty strong in this matchup. Raikou at about 50% health right now. Chaz trying to play catch up. There's been good pressure on the side of Method Black for Change My Mind. And this is really the best we've seen them look.
Yeah, this may be the answer for Method Black's composition, potentially, but is it enough for all the other options that Method Black have available, should they even manage to overcome it here in game number 1? We do see Acro pressuring Chaz, a similar strategy we saw Peekaboo and WizK utilize when facing these Death Knight melee cleaves, where you have the Rogue pressure the healer, the Shadow Priest focus on denying damage and pressuring back both of the melee players as much as possible. This is a way to create pressure on 2 locations and then force the healer, in this case Chaz, to potentially make a mistake on his defensive cooldown management. So far, the only mistake that we've seen is an overlap of Darkness and Anti-Magic Zone, but it was a fair exchange with the Smoke Bomb. Unfortunately, there's still a window of opportunity before it's available where they could find a kill. They managed to pull the Gladiator's Medallion from Chaz with the blind. Raikou Shadow melds the Gladiator's Maledict, avoiding that absorption effect. Good usage on his part, but Chaz is the one who is behind on mana. And once again, that is surprising because Raikou is running the Mana Rift strategy. It is not typical to see the opposing healer out-mana the Mana Rift Druid. So, in this current position, I actually think that Change My Mind are going to pull it off.
They definitely could, and that's one of the things we've seen teams sort of implement, is if you pressure Raikou enough, you make him scared, he doesn't have that same sort of uptime on the enemy Restoration Druid of Minpoike as we normally see. Now charging forward, looking for a Mana Rift, and Minpoike trinkets out. Right now, Change My Mind, they're doing a really good job. Minpoike, he's trading out his Trinket to avoid Mana Rifts. Valet, he'll use his Leap of Faith to grip Minpoike out of Mana Rifts. And that's 2 escapes that Change My Mind have that they can rotate through to deny Raikou. In addition to that, they have a lot of pressure on Raikou, so this is why we're seeing Method Black kind of fall behind in terms of mana. Great pressure. There's a Psychic Core onto Chaz. A beautiful death grip there by Swapsy, denying Valet's follow-up Psychic Core. That was nice crowd control denial by Method Black, and maybe the only reason Raiku's still alive.
Blur Force from Raikou once again as Valet goes into Void form. Double Psychic Scream. Good crowd control. Raikou cannot reverse magic. He's in a bit of trouble. Low on health. Sap out of the Psychic Scream. Great setup by Acro. Darkness is the last line of defense here for Raikou as Chaz sits through crowd control. Minpoike follows it up. The chain looks solid. Raikou could fall if they've got any more left. They don't. They drop the smoke bomb. Raikou is able to escape. Minpoike now gets stunned up. Life Grip to avoid the mana rift. Good teamwork between Minpoike and Valet. The only reason why Minpoike's mana is even, but now that it is even, that's the same as being behind when facing the mana rift, so it's slowly slipping away for Change My Mind. We've got a couple more opportunities to find a kill. Blind available shortly, likely to pull the Gladiator's Medallion of Chaz. Then the Vendetta in 50 seconds from Acro. If they don't get a kill with that Vendetta, I think that Method Black are taking this.
Yeah, it's going to be very scary for Change My Mind moving forward. Method Black have completely stabilized in the situation. Valet trying to help up Minpoike just a little bit with the Vampiric Embrace, getting a little bit of healing from the amount of damage that he deals with that cooldown. Full blind on Chaz, he trinkets out. What is Acro going to do? Gets a full kidney shot. Valet loading him up with Shadow Priest damage over time effects. They're looking for an all-in on Chaz. He bark skins. What else do they have available? Not too much. There's no darkness. There's no anti-magic zone. Chaz has to escape, but Swapsy with good backup once again. The death grip onto Acro, Chains of Ice. Look at how difficult it is for Acro to move in, although he uses his Vanish. Who's he going to open on? Is he just going to continue this all-in onto Chaz? I'm not sure. I completely agree with this.
Chaz switching his talents, running that Renewal, expecting to be the main target for Change My Mind. He gets a bonus heal rather than some mobility. There's an opportunity, as I was pointing out earlier, for Vendetta, and that's basically it. If Acro doesn't get a kill within the next couple of seconds, I don't think that they ever will. They've got everything available. Valet needs to build up some insanity if he wants to go in Void form and assist Acro. Chaz exchanges Iron Bark for Vendetta and the Anti-Magic Zone. That should be more than enough, unless Valet can get in position and support right as that Anti-Magic Zone fades. Valet is focusing too much on trying to create pressure on the Demon Hunter and Death Knight. They just don't take damage to the Shadow Priest dots. Valet now has to disperse. He's going to recover. Acro pulls back to try and support, creating pressure onto two places. And the split strategy may be enough potentially. Are there any more Gladiators Maledicts for the team of Change My Mind? It doesn't appear to be, and now Valet falls behind. He void shifts over to Minpoike. Frenzied Regeneration allows him to recover. Good communication between Valet and Minpoike throughout. No significant mistakes on their part, but still unable to develop pressure in favor of their team, and the mana is totally even. Not what you want to see at this point in dampening. Chaz is likely to sit down for a drink. He's just distracting them, even if he doesn't get it. Valet still low on health. Minpoike still low on health. Nothing left in the tank in terms of mana. It's do or die, but I think it's looking more like die as Valet is going to fall in game number 1. 16-0. 2 more wins to go.
Man, yeah, I think the big thing is you don't want to end the season 0-18. That's a really tough way to end the season, even when you know you're going to land. That's something that's going to be on your mind, especially if you go up against this team. Is this the composition where they can potentially break the curse?
This is a composition I've been wanting to see from Change My Mind. I'm glad that they brought it out. They tried the Rogue Shadow Priest Shaman last time they faced off. It didn't look great, but it also looked better than the Rogue Mage Druid ever did. So I'm glad that they brought this out with Minpoike now being on his main healer on that Restoration Druid. And I think that on a smaller map, Acro could potentially be a bit more threatening for the team, so it didn't look awful. They had some close calls onto Raikou. They had a close call onto Chaz at one point as well. It looks like they're unfavored, but it looks like this is the best out of the bad matchups that they have. It looked better than Shadow Priest Mage, and it looked better than the Mage Rogue. So I like this. I want to see it again on a smaller map. Maybe that way they can pressure Chaz more, and that way they can open up the game a little bit more onto Raikou.
I think even with Rogue Mage with these guys, and this is an important thing to bring up, they still made opportunities when we said that the matchup did not look good. This is a team that even on a bad matchup can win. They just haven't been able to do it against this team. This composition, some real signs of life though. Do you expect that we do see it again?
I would have to think so. I mean, this really is their best composition. I think, like Zico said, if you go to a smaller map, all of a sudden there's more windows of opportunity on the Chaz, which opens up the game a little bit more. It's all about creating pressure on the Chaz, forcing him to trinket, and maybe he really doesn't want to. And if his trinket doesn't line up with blind, then all of a sudden you have a big opportunity to take down either Raikou or potentially Swapsy, although that's just one of the problems with this composition. It's really difficult to take down Raikou and Swapsy, so your main target is going to be Chaz, which is why I think a small map could help so much.
Yeah, and when you look at Raikou, he wasn't really able to get out pressure like we expected him to either. His mana rifts at the beginning of the game in particular were almost non-existent, Supa.
It's off the back of the big push that Changed My Mind had early on. They got Darkness and Anti-Magic Zone, which are both the main priority fallbacks if there's a lot of pressure. So when you lose your main priority defensive cooldowns, you're likely to try and just avoid the fights from that point onward until they reset. So that bought a grace period of time for Minpoike to avoid mana rift a lot more readily, and that allowed him to extend his mana. But as soon as those cooldowns then became available, Raikou then got aggressive again and burned down the remainder of his mana. So unless Change My Mind can keep that type of pressure on Raikou throughout, then it's just inevitable that Minpoike will be running out of mana to that strategy. On a small map, potentially they catch Chaz off guard and burst him down. That seems to be the only way that I've seen in tournament play that these compositions can overcome the Demon Hunter Death Knight, is either swap to the Druid, kill him 100-0, or make it to 40% dampening with enough mana that you can kill the Death Knights. And those are the only two strategies that we've really seen work, other than maybe a Windwalker Death Knight. But Change My Mind don't have that available, so the other two are the only options.
Man, I just can't stop thinking about the fact that this isn't exactly how it worked out, obviously, but basically when you look at those standings, you're in a situation when you're 0-16, that's enough series to mean you make it to each tournament and then get 3-0'd by Method Black if you're Change My Mind. Like, that's enough to cover every single week. There's enough series to cover every single week. Of course, with how brackets shaped up, you could get in a situation where you play them twice in 1 week or something like that, but they've definitely played this team a fair amount of times, and they just haven't even been able to pull down a single win. We're going to have Blades Edge Arena. It's going to be closer quarters here, and this is something that you did allude to, Zico. Where do you expect that they will be positioned on this map if Change My Mind stays on the same composition?
They're going to probably be playing it up on the top, I would imagine. I'm a little bit curious to see if Minpoike is actually going to play the Monk, because I feel like a big reason why Wildcard Gaming were able to beat this was because they had the Monk, a lot more mana efficient, and the Monk can just avoid a lot of these mana rifts and also add an extra punch later on in the game. It's a bit easier as well for him sometimes to sneak off and get those drinks. I think it could be cool to see the Monk maybe implemented.
I think Monk would be the best.
Yeah.
They get grapple weapon too. Way of the Crane for extra damage. I mean, there was one point where Raikou was very low. If there was a bit of extra damage on the team, that might have been it to find a kill. I think Change My Mind's best pick that they could switch out has been Poike on Mistweaver. Yeah. But is it prepared?
I mean, there was more than one situation where Raikou could have potentially gone down if you slam a Way of the Crane into his face. Have we seen much of Minpoike on his Monk? I mean, Minpoike's looked...
Here, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, Minpoike's looked pretty decent when we have seen him multi-class this year, I feel like. But the Monk, probably a little bit of a question mark as of right now.
Yeah. You're 0-16, though.
You're 0-16.
Doesn't get much worse than that.
You may as well, right?
It factually does not get any worse than that.
Valet plays a Shadow
to an
Priest.
0-17 right here.
Valet plays a Shadow Priest, so that would be the definition of insanity. No? Running the same thing over and over with expecting different results?
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if you were going to sit here and play the same composition again, that would be the definition of insanity. Just doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. That would be the definition of insanity. Valet most likely going to be on that Shadow Priest again. 30 seconds until we do see if they're going to play the same thing again, which would be the definition of insanity. Do you think Change My Mind is going to change their composition?
I'm not sure. They're definitely keeping us on edge.
Of insanity. I think Minpoike should take the risk here. I'm sure he's messed around with it at least a little bit.
He plays one on live. That much I can tell you.
Yeah, we've seen him play before. I mean,
we've seen him look good on it before too. I guess it was probably the last time that we really did see that was last year. I guess was when we saw him on the Monk. So in the last season we even saw him play. Not going to make that change though, but they are going to stick to their guns with that RPS and.
I'm actually just running it through my mind because of the way Looney played in the last series, using Ring of Peace. So Darkness and Anti-Magic Zone are basically normally guaranteed that you don't die cooldowns unless you're Colo. But Ring of Peace can deny that by knocking you out of its defense. If they played a Mistweaver variant and they all in Chaz and just use Ring of Peace to stop that, I think Chaz dies through his personal defensive cooldowns. I think Monk is the best choice that Change My Mind could run with. Like, there's no way that it's not.
They might have another opportunity here to do that, right? I think that we all kind of agree Poike on the Monk would be something that we would like to see. This time around, though, on the Druid, what can he get going?
Well, I think this map is set up nicely for Valet on the Shadow Priest with the way Mind Control works. He might be able to go for a lot of Mind Control plays onto Swapsy and Raikou if he positions well, potentially be throwing them off the side. So I think Raikou and Swapsy are going to have to do a good job trying to deny those, potentially, as it does seem that their main win condition for Change My Mind is just allow Acro a significant amount of uptime on Chaz. And I think on this map, with Valet on the Shadow Priest and Mind Control, they might be able to extend that in their favor, but I don't know. It's difficult because you would have to say Method Black in the long game will have an advantage with Mana Rift and just with the amount of damage they're able to put out.
I know we've already mentioned it, but we knew that this series was going to be difficult for them pretty much any way that it went. They need to be breaking out curveballs time and time again. Otherwise, like Super Tease did mention, we're just going to see history repeat itself. And you don't want to see that here. Change My Mind has just fallen into third place after third place after third place. This is a team, look, you look at Valet, he's one of the best Shadow Priests in the world. Fried Kiddit is probably, he's the only player that hasn't?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Out of all the players that qualified to the spring finals this year, there's only one that didn't make it last year to one of the different LAN tournaments, and that's Fried Kitty.
That's insanity. Yeah, speaking of being crazy, he's the only player that hasn't made it to a LAN before. Yeah. He's kind of the breakout player of this year just because of that. He's on this squad. Acrolaws, he's kind of one of the breakout players of last year, right? We see him come out, and all of a sudden we're looking at this guy, and we're like, oh yeah, now he's a main staple of World of Warcraft esports. People know his name, when last year we were saying similar things about him. Now you have Poike, who time and time again has competed on many different rosters and been so close to getting all the way to BlizzCon, getting BlizzCon wins. And this is a team that has the potential to pull down a LAN and get that started, have those big expectations met. To fall into this rhythm of third place, I can only imagine how disappointing it is for this roster, Zico.
Yeah, but I feel like they specialized in two different compositions, and some of them worked, some of them didn't, and it brought them to this point where they are now.
You know what? I think we've been we've been very critical at times of Change My Mind, which I think is fair. I believe in them so much that they will be able to grab one single map win in this series. I'm putting my mustache on it right now. By the hairs of my mustache.
If Method Black 3-0, you're shaving your mustache.
Yeah. No, but they won't. Change My Mind is going to be able to take one. The mustache blessing has been bestowed.
All right.
You're putting a lot on the line there.
Put my brand on the line. Let's see what Change My Mind can do on Blades Edge Arena. Will they be able to grab one win? Otherwise, I'm going to be babyface for the next two months. But I think that they can take one win. I think that they've already taken the necessary steps to try to create a new scenario for themselves, because the current one is not something that they want to see repeated time and time again. This is a team that has already qualified and is one of the top 4 teams in the EU. We know all of their names. It's going to be Wildcard Gaming, Method Black, Change My Mind, and ABC. These teams are going to be competing at LAN, but you need the points for the entire year if you want to go to the next LAN, if you want to go to the finals. Let's see what they can do here. Method Black trying to get on that 2-0.
Yeah, if Change My Mind want to win a match here, they have to keep Chaz and Method Black guessing. We saw the most amount of pressure from an all-in attempt onto Raikou with a smoke bomb. They almost took him down, causing Method Black to use basically all of their defensive cooldowns in order to stay alive. That's the kind of play we need from Change My Mind. Acro's really going to have to be a playmaker here for his team.
All right, Acro, what can you do similarly to Peekaboo on the team of the move when facing these cleave compositions? He is the one who is going to have to set up everything for the team. I do think moving forward, should Change My Mind lose here, I would love to just even Poike Mistweaver do an all-in kill on Chaz, try and run him over, at least just to put a point on the board, to break the curse, to break the slump. You don't want to go into the LAN 18-0 against Method Black. Do appreciate them trying different compositions outside of their comfort zone. And Poike trying to fish for a Hibernate. Chaz dodges it, goes for a Cyclone. That could be devastating for Valet as he's interrupted low on health. Now Poike stunned into a Mana Rift. Ursul's Vortex on the life grip. Good counter by Chaz. Great initiation by Chaz, banking them huge pressure.
Yeah, Method Black was just heating up. Another Cyclone on him, and Poike. Valet could be forced into an early dispersion here. Does still have a lot of cooldowns he can rotate through. I think changed my mind. It will stabilize here, but here's the attempt. Kidney shot, smoke bomb onto Raikou. Anti-magic zone gets dropped out.
Oh!
Swapsy, a lot of pressure, but he should be able to survive. Darkness gets dropped down. These are the attempts we're talking about.
If there was a Ring of Peace, they just remove the darkness. And they could just kill him, I swear, if they just had Ring of Peace on this composition.
Yeah, it could have been the light that they need to remove the darkness, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. And Poike with no trinket can be vulnerable. Valet getting lower. Big burst damage here by Swapsy and Raikou. Silence on Chaz's trinket. Raikou in a full kidney shot. Do they have the damage to take him down? Valet really not using mind control too much in this matchup. I'm kind of wondering why Change My Mind did pick this map. I guess Chaz doesn't have a lot of room to run and hide. Hacker will be able to bounce around between targets a lot more on a map like Blade's Edge, especially if they're playing on the upper side of the bridge.
Right, that was the big attack that we saw similarly to game number 1, but it didn't get a kill, so it's going to be some time until Change My Mind can build that much momentum again to potentially take out Method Black. Good crowd control on Chaz. Raikou cross crowd controlled as well. Instant interrupt on the I-beam, denying a lot of damage from Raikou, but even still, Valet getting chopped up. Mana is even. You do not want to be even when facing the Mana Rift Demon Hunter. Oh, Valet mixing it up is running Mind Bomb instead of Psychic Scream, realizing that his mobility is heavily limited with a Death Knight casting Chains of Ice. He can then use the Mind Bomb as a ranged crowd control. This may be an interesting adaptation that nets them a kill on Raikou later on.
Yeah, we'll have to see how exactly that plays out. So far, Method Black, they're looking good. Raikou still has his trinket available. Mana, actually relatively even at this point in the game. Chaz did sneak away, or potentially sneak away for a drink, but Acro was able to use his Vanish and actually land a Sap. That's where a lot of that earlier crowd control stemmed from. So good denial there by Acro and Valet, and I think on this map it could be really difficult for Chaz to actually escape and recover some of that mana. Whereas Poike right now, he's in stealth. I wonder if he's actually drinking right now. This could be huge for Change My Mind.
All right, so let's see. He's managed to reset completely. They've got the Gladiator's Medallion from Chaz. This is an opportunity for Vendetta in 20 seconds, and with that huge mana lead, Change My Mind could potentially be saving Rich's mustache as I speak.
I don't know about that one. Honestly, I'm kind of rooting for Method Black at this point.
You don't like it?
Just to get rid of the must. No, I do like it. I do like it, but I think it would be funny to get shaved off. All right. Let's see what's going on in the game. Method Black, they've fully recovered at this point.
He loves the look, but he just wants you to feel pain, is basically what he just said.
Ben came up to me today and showed me a picture of Gamescom last year and went, you looked really good back then. What was different? Wow, dude.
He's just flaming everyone. Mind Bomb into Sap. That was really well timed by Acro. They need to get pressure out with that crowd control chain. That Mind Bomb adaptation may potentially open up a window for Change My Mind to find victory. Chaz is still crowd controlled. Raiker's locked down for 2 more seconds. Darkness 1 second away. Silence on Chaz. Now they're trying to hold on to it. Greedy play to try and hold on to it. Very low on health. Full Cyclone secured. Darkness, can you get a mind control? Maybe anything to pull him out of the defense. They use Mind Bomb defensively, I guess, to save the diminishing return. Smoke Bomb right at the end of the darkness, but Raikou is able to retreat out. They need just the tiniest bit more damage. Tiniest bit more damage. Chaz gets crowd controlled. Insane play from Change My Mind. They need to purge off that Gladiator safeguard.
No way.
No way.
No way. Change My Mind cannot believe it. Raikou manages to stay alive. Iron Bark going to be enough from Chaz. Raikou just dancing with death, dancing circles around Change My Mind in order to survive. A nice Cyclone coming in from Poike once again. Another one onto Chaz. Honestly, Poike's been doing such a good job on that restoration with this crowd control, really setting up his team. Kidney shot full onto Raikou. Do they have the damage? Finally take him down to triple Chaos Nova denies. Once again, Raikou just going to be kiting around on that Demon Hunter, avoiding a lot of damage. Still low, though. Chaz not out of crowd control, has to play catch-up at this point.
16-1, the dream? Maybe, potentially, for Change My Mind. They still have huge mana leads. They've got Vendetta with no darkness. Dampening is entered. Potentially they make it to the 40% mark if they need to rely on that. Maybe they don't need to. Where is Chaz, though? He's not able to sneak away. Minpoike's looking for Cyclones. Chaz trinkets out of blind. Now that Mind Bomb sap. That could be a way for Acrolals to find victory. Beautiful talent change from Valet, mixing it up even though not changing classes, and now they've got huge momentum. Chaz is totally tapped on mana. Raikou needs to be careful if he overextends. He's got no darkness to rely on. Raikou jumps downstairs to stop Minpoike from drinking, but he overextends. Now caught out of line of sight. Chaz barely connects Ironbark in time. Anti-magic zone appears to be enough. Raikou is still very low on health, and Chaz is cycloned. Gladiator Safeguard procs. Raikou gets stunned up. They need more crowd control. They can't get it. Minpoike is denied. Chaz dispels. Very risky dispel with Raikou that low on health. Overgrowth, though, now stabilizes, but that's the last overgrowth of the game. Chaz is totally tapped on mana. Where's the Mind Bomb? I want to see a Mind Bomb sap. They already used the Vanish. They can't go for it. Cheap shot. Potentially Mind Bomb out. Mind Bomb, but on diminishing return, mistakes here on that diminishing return. Lose an opportunity for Change My Mind.
Yeah, but Change My Mind, they're still looking really good in this matchup. They have so many defensive cooldowns. Minpoike has a mana lead. Raikou just running and hiding at this point, allowing Swapsy to sort of pull aggro from Acro and Valet. Still has some defensives he can rotate to, but good pressure here for Change My Mind. Chaz caught in some crowd control. Swapsy could just fall. Anti-magic shell should be able to deny for long enough for Swapsy to actually get healed up just a little bit, but now Swapsy's having to run. This is a momentum shift for Change My Mind like we've never seen before. Swapsy and Raikou playing a little bit scared.
All right, let's see what they can get done here. We're not at that 40% mark, but Swapsy is totally exposed in terms of defensive cooldowns. Smoke Bomb comes up in 15 seconds. If they can catch Swapsy in a Smoke Bomb, potentially KO him. Where's Chaz? Gets denied on his drink. Valet's in Void form. He's going to be ramping up. Raikou tries to slow him down. Valet trinkets out. Swapsy uses that every man for himself when it was just Acro, but he's out of line of sight of Chaz. He's actually taking a huge amount of damage. A bit unexpected from Change My Mind. Are they going to break the slump? Chaz gets reversed out of the Mind Bomb just in time, but 0 mana left in the tank. Minpoike's got Innervate rolling for a couple seconds. He can potentially stabilize the team for one more big push. Vendetta and 14, Shadow Fiend available. Change My Mind have powerhouse cooldowns available, but no mana to go past that point. Chaz is just running around the bridge like a jungle gym looking to try and find a drink, but I think his mom did not pack an extra juice box. And Minpoike jumps in, denies the drink. Raikou's overextended. Valet dips low. Blur trades. Gladiator's Maledict's incoming. Raikou is dispelled out of that, bashed up. Raikou recovers. Valet now on the back foot. Minpoike has more mana. Double defensive Mind Bomb, at least removing Swapsy from the fight. Valet is playing out of his mind to try and break this slump right now.
Darkness gets dropped. Raikou barely surviving once again. How is he still alive? Darkness, the last line of defense. There's nothing left for Method Black. Chaz has to heal on fumes. Acro with the beautiful interrupt. Change My Mind, looking to take down Method Black. Finally, can they take him down? Raikou just dancing around. Finally take him down. Change My Mind, change the result of this match and put a point on the board for the first time in how long?
Brands intact. The mustache gonna stay. Change My Mind. Going to be able to take one. It's 1-16 now. The question is, can they keep turning it around? Can they take down an entire series, Zico?
Let's not get crazy. There's still large maps in the pool, but this was nice. This is what I've been wanting to see from them. I actually had a conversation with Acro, 3 weeks ago, where I suggested that maybe they should try something completely drastic, at least something like this, and I'm glad to see it work out for him. They're playing out of their mind on this map, and it's barely enough, but Minpoike did have a nice mana lead. They kept their composure as well, swapping between Swapsy and Raikou, and a couple of nice attempts on Chaz as well earlier in the match, and a lot of this just comes down to the map pick as well. Chaz really couldn't go and get any drinks here, and that game, man, it's Blade's Edge. It's a Razor's Edge.
We avoided that one, man. We avoided that. But when I look at this, I instantly start thinking maybe everybody on Change My Mind should grow out mustaches and just win BlizzCon. Maybe that's the secret. The mustache blessing remains intact. Change My Mind with this new composition. That's the other thing to kind of also have in our minds, is the fact that there is a new composition here. Something has changed. It's 1-1 on the day. Can they keep on trucking? maybe they will be able to take their first series. They already took their first game. We're going to find out after this. Now's a pretty good time to race change, as you could just see on the screen. I saw some pretty cool Tyrants the other day. Did you guys see Buff Jiri yet? Actually, the best transmog in the game. Jackson, well done, well done. But also well done on the side of Change My Mind. They've finally done it. They've finally managed to live up to their name. Zico was with a composition that we haven't seen them play before either.
Yeah, Shadow Priest Rogue Druid finally working out for them there. And I really like that they did this adaptation, but I'm a bit curious to see what are they going to do on the larger maps now, because I'm fairly confident that Method Black are going to select something like Ashamane's Fall. Are we going to see the Shadow Priest Mage maybe come out? I'm not sure. And we are going to see Hook Point.
Okay.
That is interesting for sure.
Okay, Hook Point, we're going to be going to a very small map here. How does that actually fare for the likes of Change My Mind? This is going to be Method Black's map pick.
Method Black are basically going to the point. There's going to be mana rifting Minpoike, and he will not be able to get away and drink as frequently as on Blade's Edge Arena. That's the main strategy that Method Black have employed. However, the pressure from Change My Mind has also been very high, so while they will be getting more mana rifts, they will also open up opportunities for Chaz to be a target more often, and if Change My Mind take advantage of that, they could still find victory. And this composition, with the style that they're playing and the talents that they're running, has finally broken the slump, and maybe a comeback.
I think this is actually something that could easily backfire on Method Black. A small map like this, like we kind of said, changed my mind. They've been having a lot of pressure, especially on Blade's Edge, although Minpoike was able to sneak away and get a drink, which did ultimately win them the game. But I don't know. I'm really surprised to see Method Black not switch it up. Compositionally, at least, they knew exactly what Change My Mind was going to be running. They could have opted into something like the Rogue Mage, which I think would have fared pretty well into what Change My Mind is running right now. But maybe they just want to clean up their gameplay, because it is a bit of an experiment for Method Black. If they can just consistently win, clean up their own play, maybe Change My Mind has not found an answer whatsoever. Maybe they did get a little bit lucky, and I think that's what Method Black really wants to test.
Method Black's not having a good day. I think even when we look at the first series that they had against, even though it's against Wildcard Gaming and you expect Wildcard Gaming to win, the way that they did it, they made Chaz look like a chewed piece of gum and that you're just trying to scrape off your shoe. It takes a little bit of time, but eventually you're going to be able to figure it out. They were able to knock them down to this lower bracket very convincingly, and now we see Method lose the first time that they ever have against Change My Mind, not in a series, but in a game. It's going to be 1-16. Change My Mind looking to get their first victory in the last cup of the season before LAN. Let's open up these gates and see what they can do.
All right, here we go. Change My Mind have broken the curse, finally putting a point on the board and protecting that also illustrious stash as I watch Rich with a comb. You have a comb for your mustache.
Hey, just because you don't need a comb doesn't mean I don't.
Wow, that's a little.
I'm done.
That's a little bad manner. Acro moving in. What is he going to get done? Cheap shot on to Swapsy. We saw in the last game, it was actually Raikou who was pressured for most of it, and I think Change My Mind, that's going to be their main target of choice once again. Kidney shot on Raikou. I'm curious to see if Valet is going to be staying with that Mind Bomb adaptation onto Chaz, or if he's going to go back to the Psychic Horror. I think Mind Bomb worked out really well for him in the last game, so I expect that crowd control to stay the same.
All right, let's see when Change My Mind decide to pull the trigger on their first big push. Gripped into a triple stun. This is devastating. Method Black could swing the momentum. They go for a smoke bomb counterattack. They're trying to bait Method Black to overextend. They're not falling for the bait. The smoke bomb has faded. Potentially they go all in, try and punish this underreaction. And Poiki secures a Cyclone. Crowd control solid. The anti-magic zone now appears to be enough for Raikou as he is protected inside this purple bubble, opting to just leave the protection of the bubble immediately. No crowd control to follow up just yet. Now Valet will be on the back foot and looking to stabilize. And Poike pre-iron barks that incoming attack. Now they look to counter-engage with a silence. Acro Shao steps over. Are they going to do it?
They might be able to take Raikou down. Darkness gets dropped. How are they going to push through this? Right now it doesn't look like they're able to. Raikou using that cover of darkness to stay alive in this situation. Chaz still with no Iron Bark is going to have to play catch up, but a Mind Bomb secured by Valet. And Poike in a good position to follow it up if he really needs to. Now he doesn't find the Cyclone. Nice attempt there by Raikou to deny that incoming crowd control to keep him alive.
Valet and Akram and Poike are playing absolutely bonkers here in this series against Method Black. They've definitely stepped up their game. Curious to see what they can prepare for the spring finals, if they're going to be diversifying their roster or just continue focusing on mastery and focusing on only their mains. It's going to be a decision that they need to make moving forward towards LAN. In this series, it seems to have finally been paying off, putting a game against Method Black. Crowd control initiated. Mind Bomb gets reversed by Raikou. Bash to follow up. Valet trying to dig in for a blur from Raikou, not finding enough damage to force it. I like these instant interrupts on I-Beam. Acro removing a lot of damage from the fight with that immediate reaction time. Mana is still in favor of Change My Mind. Darkness out of the way, Anti-Magic Zone out of the way, and Vendetta is shortly going to be available, and I'm curious to see where Acro decides to place it, potentially moving forward for a blind to try and bait Chaz to use Gliders Medallion, and then we see a swap. Chaz is in stealth. He's trying to drink. Acro tries to find him with Fan of Knives, but Chaz was able to avoid it. He's still in stealth. He's not seen. They don't know where he is. They don't know how much mana he's managed to get, but he does not manage to get any. Change My Mind all over him, and this map is starting to backfire.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see exactly how it works out. When Poike with that mana lead and Raikou under so much pressure, things aren't looking good. Full sap onto Chaz. Nicely done. Vendetta gets committed onto Raikou. He uses his blur, anti-magic zone, trades again from Swapsy with that Vendetta. Raikou still under a lot of pressure. Ironbark looking to deny the kill. Chaz dispels Raikou, but now caught in additional crowd control. Raikou having to run away once again and Change My Mind. They've just been having so much pressure in these last 3 games. This is looking like a completely different matchup than we've seen in the last month.
And Poike hops in, gets a bash, Mind Bomb. Oh, but it ends up breaking. Unfortunate. I believe Valet's Void Form activation broke it. Maybe it doesn't matter. Raikou is just taking so much damage right now. Acro moves to close. Can he connect? He can't make it. Swapsy peels him away, but Chaz is still cycloned. Raikou is hanging on by a thread. Ursul's Vortex holds him in place. Acro moves over, reconnects, but they need crowd control. Ursul's Vortex pulls Raikou back in the fight. Kidney shot instantly on the I-beam. Acro has been shutting Raikou down instantly, time and time again, really creating huge windows for his team. Now cycloned low health by Minpoike as they look to reset the crowd control on Chaz. Trinket out of blind. Minpoike fishing for another hibernate. Any of these hibernates may be enough for Change My Mind to close the fight out. Chaz needs to be ready for it. Raikou still on the run. We've never really seen Method Black have such a difficult time in a tournament, and moving forward to the spring finals, this is gonna get things interesting there. I'm really happy to see Change My Mind with this type of performance.
Yeah, they are playing out of their minds at this point in the game. Chaz in stealth right now. I don't think he's gonna be able to escape for a drink. Full stun onto Acro. Good peels by Swapsy. Honestly, to Swapsy's credit, he's been doing a really good job on point with his defensive cooldowns as well as his peels, making it very difficult for Acro and Valet to chase down Raikou, and that's one of the problems. They get good pressure onto Raikou, but because the Demon Hunter has so much mobility and Chaz is always positioned very far away, that Method Black can work as a unit where Raikou and Chaz, they run away. They get behind the pillar. Swapsy keeps snares on everyone and denies them to actually seal the deal onto Raikou because they are just getting him so low consistently in this match. They just don't have enough damage to really end it.
This next push has to, I believe, be a swap to Chaz. Anti-magic zone for Vendetta. Seems like they're still just pressuring Raikou. Mind control on the Mana Rift. Trying to stall out some of that, but it ends up breaking early. Minpoike is now even with Chaz. Not what you want to see in this specific matchup. Things are starting to get out of control for Change My Mind with this Vendetta banking them. Only a blur. You would typically want to see more than that. Chaz bashed up. What can they get off this? Mind Bomb. Crowd control is solid. 3 seconds away. 2 seconds away. 1 second away. Raikou has to trinket out. Chaz gets sapped out of the Mind Bomb. This crowd control chain that Change My Mind have brought in, the Mind Bomb into sap, is sick to say the least. Another sap. Acro's all over Chaz right now. Continuing the chain with a silence. That Gladiator safeguard gets dispelled off. Raikou's so low on health. Valet just needs to get in line of sight. Minpoike moves in. He's trying to get a Cyclone. Can he get the Cyclone? Right as the diminishing return ends, he gets Mind Frozen. Minpoike needs to keep going for it if they want to keep their momentum, but Valet's being counter-aggressed back. Mind Bomb secured again. Raikou in trouble. Ducking around the corner, catching an I-beam in that Metamorphosis. Likely to not go down, but if they can make a big push, if they can survive another 50 seconds to Acro's Vendetta, potential for Change My Mind.
That was such a sick play by Change My Mind, but Raikou just reacting beautifully, running away, hiding when he needed to. Now Blur is rotated back up. Chaz has Iron Bark. They can deny the next attempt from Change My Mind as long as they react to the situation appropriately. Chaz in stealth right now, potentially sneaking away for a drink. If he can recover mana, it's going to be huge for Method Black.
All right, let's see what they can get done. Where's the denial? Oh, he was distracted by Acro into a blind. Oh, I was almost expecting Acro to Shadow Step Kidney Shot Chaz on his Trinket, but ends up going after Swapsy. Maybe just trying to stall the fight. And Poike trying to babysit Chaz. And more like kitty sit here as trying to stop him from drinking in cat form. But not able to. Now initiating crowd control. Bash hibernates. Not going to go for it. Instead just running away. Bash into silence. Fishing for more cooldowns. They managed to pull Blur, but they're still going for it. They get the kidney shot. Good crowd control, but as it fades, Chaz can connect Iron Bark. He doesn't have mana. Everything's going to come down to momentum. Can Change My Mind develop enough damage here to push Raikou over so Chaz just cannot heal with how limited his mana is? The same can be said for Method Black. Everything's going to come down to the last couple of seconds.
Yeah, definitely. And Valet on that Shadow Priest, keep in mind, that's some of the changes we saw. He's able to use that to spell magic quite often. I think that's why they have so much pressure on Raikou. Chaz, he puts up the heal over time effects and then just get dispelled off immediately by Valet. And at this point in dampening, with Chaz having absolutely no mana left, I don't know how he can heal up Raikou. It's looking like Change My Mind is going to claim game number 3, and they do. Method Black, they need a different answer because this is not looking like a matchup in their favor.
You got to give it up to Change My Mind. This composition is looking fantastic for them. And this is, how many times have we said? How many times have we said that all Change My Mind needs to do to become one of the top teams is learn how to take down Method Black? That is the most important thing for them this year. And now, all of a sudden, it's like a blessing has been bestowed upon them and they are tearing through this squad. They might even take the whole thing.
I feel so proud right now over Change My Mind. They've been able to accomplish what's been stopping them the entire season from getting any further than third place? And it's nice to see them do it, but I gotta question Method Black a little bit. What is going on with these guys today? What are these map picks we've been seeing from them? The small map, why do they go for it? I'm not entirely sure. What are they scared of? If they go for a big map, are they scared of the Wizards? I mean, Change My Mind themselves never even pick Ashamane's Fall or Tolvaron Arena when they go for that Shadow Priest Mage. We've always seen them go for that Mugambala. So they could pretty confidently lock something in like Tiger's Peak, like... I mean, they won on Nagrand, right? So just lock in Tiger's Peak, lock in Ashamane's. You're fine on those maps. They don't. They lock in a small map, and that's literally what we said after the first game. If this goes to a smaller map, I could see this composition working. What do we see? A smaller map, and Change My Mind wins. Here again, on Hook Point, we're going to see the same thing. They think that we can shut down Poike from getting the drinks. Well, guess what? They're also shutting down Chaz from getting drinks.
Do you think that this is their best composition? Don't you think Rogue Mage would be really good?
Against Shadow Priest Rogue? I would love to see it.
That'd be a cool one to see.
It would be cool to see it, but I think the Shadow Priest Rogue maybe have the edge. At least historically, they've been having the edge in Legion.
Well, the composition we saw stomp out Colo's team was, or not Colo's team, they were playing the Windwalker Death Knight to stomp out the move on Shadow Priest Rogue.
Yeah, we could see Windwalker DK would be a good answer for sure.
The other thing is, though, now is, we have a situation where Change My Mind is going to have momentum in the series.
Yeah.
So let's say that a Rogue Mage does come out and they don't feel like it's a good matchup. They potentially have the chance, depending on where it comes out in the series, to at least mirror, right? And
I feel like they're going to win the series.
They're going to win this series. And it's one of those things when you talk about, I feel like on the desk, we've been critical of Change My Mind throughout the year. Let's be honest, they deserve it. They're a team of really good players, and they have a record of, they were 0-16 against this team a little bit earlier. They deserved all of the flack that they got, but they also deserve these wins right now, and they deserve to go very far in the season. I think a lot of the times when we're critical of a team, it's because we know what they can do, right? It's not like you're seeing a team with people that you haven't been watching compete for years at a time, seen them win, see what their goals are, and want to see them achieve it. Change My Mind now, finally starting to do that, but they still do have a little bit of more work to do in my mind as well before they get to land. If they can do that, I think they're going to destroy North America, to be completely honest. I think that this is one of those teams that has a chance to just eat apart North America and then face against some of these teams. Method Black, on the other hand, though, this is a bad week for them. Like, this is a bad week. As much as we've been critical of the past, to Change My Mind, today is when we're critical of Method Black. I think Chaz has gotten nothing but praise. We've practically thrown Chaz parades on the desk, seeing him multi-class and do everything. Today...
You compared him to gum on the bottom of a shoe today.
And that analogy was too nice. It actually is much harder to get gum off of a shoe than what we saw in that game. You actually have to think about how you're going to get the gum off your shoe and look for like and you're scraping it off, and then you're worried about the shoe. I would have just, if that was a shoe with gum on it, I would have thrown that shoe out. I would have just left it wherever. And that's not something we expect from Chaz. What do you think is going on, Zico?
I think it's a team thing, though. I don't think it's necessarily just Chaz. I mean, sure, the Monk pick didn't look great for him, but I feel like they also could afford to experiment there, knowing what their track record against Change My Mind is. I don't blame him for bringing that out, but at the same time, I feel like it's Wildcard Gaming just looking like a tier above everything, but Method Black also... I'm not sure what's going on with their map picks. I think that they are overthinking it way too hard. Like, again, we're going to see a small map picked out, which suggests to me that we're going to see something like a Windwalker DK come out, because if we see DK DH Resto Druid again on a small map like this, Change My Mind could just walk away with this one. So I think Method Black's map picks, more than anything, have been, quite honestly, kind of bad. Like, in their first game against Wildcard Gaming, I'm not going to fault them for bringing out the Windwalker Mage. I would have done the same thing. But after that, they went to a large map, an unnecessarily large map. And even there, you can be like, okay, sure. You went for Ashamanes, you weren't expecting the Mistweaver version of the Wizards. But then, on Ruins, I'm not sure what was going on there. I would have much rather seen a standard map like Tiger's Peak there. So I'm not sure. And again, the smaller maps that they keep picking are actually good for Change My Mind. If Chaz doesn't bring out his Mistweaver here, or we see a complete composition change, I'm going to go ahead and say that this map is going to backfire as well, and we're going to see a 3-1.
Yeah, so you've had a lot of questions, not only about individual player performance, but what the team's strategy is. I want to take a moment here as we're watching everything get locked in. I've been called now in chat a betrayer of North America. I do think it's important to have this conversation of how we think teams are going to perform globally. As much as I think North America is stronger as a region than it's ever been before, I think right now with how the meta has started to slightly drift away, a lot of our strongest teams in North America might not be stacking up as well into these European teams. I think the boys are the best hope right now. I think that if you just get down to brass tacks, EU might just run away with LAN. And Zico, I think I know how you feel. Ven, how do you feel about that? How do you feel that the competition is going to look between our two regions that will be at the LAN? Because we're going to see NA a little bit later in the day and actually figure out who that fourth team is as well.
I mean, there's a lot of good teams from North America right now. Method Orange, they haven't been doing necessarily the best. There's still some things that they need to work out before LAN season, but they're the former BlizzCon champions. I mean, if anyone can figure it out, it's going to be them. Super Frogs, of course, they have two phenomenal Destruction Warlocks on their team. Like we kind of mentioned, Destruction Warlocks not necessarily, well, they're still in a really good spot, but they did get nerfed compared to those melee cleaves. But I still think Super Frogs is a team that's versatile enough. They have enough LAN experience on their side. I mean, it's Chanimal, Snuts, Wealthy Man, and Cubsy in a LAN environment. Every single time they go to a LAN environment, they always impress us. They always perform. They overperform, in fact. So I think it would be crazy to count North America out.
Yeah, honestly, Chan could play Affliction on LAN and win, right? Like that's something that we've seen in a worse place than it even is right now. Like we've seen him with basically no defensive toolkit besides a portal and just be able to run circles around people on the main stage. So I do think that's a very important thing to keep in our minds. But right now, Sid, if you were just going to look at compositions and compositional strength, and we will talk about what we're seeing from Chaz here right after that, but if we were just going to talk about compositional strength, do you side with EU or NA to most likely take our first LAN?
The current meta stays the way that it is. I think Wildcard Gaming takes it all. If it shifts more into Warlock, like Affliction Warlock territory, then Super Frogs become super powerful, really, because they've got two of the best Warlocks in the game on their team. And then if the meta shifts into a Rogue Mage meta, Change My Mind is suddenly like, hey, we've been practicing this. Maybe we keep coming, in third place over and over, but they're one of the best Rogue Mages in the game easily. So if the meta changes, it may not be the case. But if it stays the way that it is, I do expect Wildcard Gaming.
Yeah, and
solid team.
The reason that's so important as well, and one of the reasons I'm so excited to talk about it, and then Zico, I do want to talk about what Chaz is doing here, but one of the reasons it's more important to think about LAN right now is points are cumulative for the entire year to get to the finals, and only one team from NA off of points is going to qualify to the final, and only one team from EU is going to qualify. So what happens when we see somebody, let's say that Wildcard Gaming is able to win. Now we look over at EU and you say, okay, Wildcard and Method Black look like they're going. If then Method Black comes out and wins the second LAN, and then we see an EU team in second place at that LAN, you basically send 4 teams from EU and 1 team from North America. The finals could look so much different next year than they did last year. An NA final does not seem like something we will see this year, especially with the strength of EU. And the question is, what team is going to be able to make that push at LAN? And is it going to be a team that's strong on the patch or strong throughout the year? Now, when we look at Method Black here, this is not a team that's been strong on the day. Change My Mind trying to change their fate. Chaz now going to be going on the Monk. It didn't look good when we saw it earlier today. Why do you think we're going back to it now?
This is honestly a good matchup. So Druid on a small map, like we mentioned, both Druids are going to have a hard time drinking, and the team with the pressure, the team with the kill pressure is Change My Mind. Therefore, they are more favored on the small map. Now, if you swap out the Druid versus the Monk and nobody's drinking, the Monk has that advantage because the Monk is more mana cost efficient in terms of healing. The Monk also has the Counteract Magic, which is a nice extra bonus healing against damage over time effects, which Villet, of course, has. So I like the Monk pick, and I'm not going to count Chaz's Monk out after one game, but we're going to keep that, as a thought in the back of our heads. Chaz, we're going to need to kind of put him under the microscope here and really see how does he look on this Monk, because that's going to give us another matchup, a different map, and a different, look on what he's been able to do. So we're going to see how well he performs. Overall, though, this is something I did want to see. I wanted to see a compositional change from Method Black, and especially the healer. And I think when we talk about the international lands as well, I think the biggest talking point right now is how good are you on Monk and how good are you on Resto Druid? And that's why I slightly favor EU in the LAN. I mean, it's not like I count North America out completely, and I don't think that North America could take it just as easily. It comes down to things like brackets and who faces who as well. But I think that right now, EU has a couple of more better monks in their back pocket. I think, Gorecki or Kabzi, for example, on Resto Druid, they could easily, you can easily argue who's better between them and Chaz and Looney. But when it comes down to monks, I think Looney is the best one right now that we've seen. So I think the fact that he has that, plus he can go toe-to-toe with anyone else on the Resto Druid, that gives him a big edge. Should the meta shift all of a sudden to who plays the better Resto Shaman, all of a sudden Method Orange are just going to be jumping up big time on those standings, right? So it's hard to say when we don't know what the patch is going to look like as well, but for now, if everything is the way it is right now, my vote goes as well for Wildcard Gaming in that discussion. Just throwing it in there.
Yeah, but they look insane. Like, it's not even... I don't think anybody in chat right now or anywhere is surprised that that's the prediction that you make. And the bracket is going to be very important. And you talk about brackets being important, and you look over at what's happening in North America when we do head into those matches. After we finish up this one, then we had the grand finals for EU. Then we're going to take a look at NA. The Mew Mew Kitty Cats, it comes down to this last bracket, why we favor them to be the fourth team going to LAN. And I want to bring this up while it seems like we're in a little bit of a delay as the players are getting ready, which is understandable. Method probably trying to make sure that everything's going well, and change my mind. They're on the cusp of getting their first victory against this team. When you look at North America, which team out of our potential teams do you think has the best chance to actually win? Because you talk about monks. Kolo's looked pretty strong on his monk so far on the side of Never Lucky.
Well, they haven't qualified just yet.
No, but I'm saying out of the two teams that could qualify, which do you think would have the best chance to take the LAN? So if you are somebody who is a fan that cheers typically for North America, that's how I always was, right? I would just cheer for North America. I'd cheer for Ven. Even when sometimes he didn't do what he needed to do, he was still cool, if you know what I'm saying.
It's the ice block thing, right?
Oh, man, they're like, Rich, shut up. Let's get in the game.
I'm going to come back to this discussion later.
I think it's really important to actually... Which one?
Of the two teams, who would do better?
Yeah, I think we will get back to that. I also still am your biggest fan.
Thank you. Love you, too.
Just hug it out.
Yeah.
Good job. Change my mind. They're about to hug each other if they can manage to make it through Method Black. But this is a composition matchup that we've seen happen in North America, and it does not look too good for the Shadow Priest Rogue. So they are going to have to battle against all odds here on match point. But they've finally broken their slump, at least against Method Black. Let's see what Waz can do, substituting in on that Windwalker.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see what exactly he can get done. Waz Walker coming in for a second game of the day. Fully getting pressured down already quite early. Touch of Death has been committed. What can they really get done? Chaz, like we kind of talked about, he's going to be a pressure point for the team. Acro kind of knows that, so he's moving forward, trying to see if Chaz is going to be making any mistakes, seeing what kind of pressure he can generate. But in the meantime, Valet's getting low, forced into dispersion, and Poike's going to have to play catch-up. Waz doing a great job with Swapsy to really pressure Change My Mind.
Waz gets bursted. Chaz is in crowd control. How are they going to respond? Any mistakes on match point? And that's it for Method Black in this tournament. And that is a poor display, to say the least, for their team overall, as we expect them to dominate the competition, but they're falling behind. Chaz trades Leverkusen. Pressure is developing. Waz carrying the team, tons of damage. When Poike connects a couple regrowths, stabilizes for now. Now in crowd control, though, could still be trouble for Valet. Waz continues to push forward, and Poike uses that Glarus Medallion to get out of crowd control and start healing. Chaz is locked down in crowd control. Acro doing that split strategy, trying to create pressure into 2 points. Sets up for a Cyclone off the back of the stun from Poike. Good pressure on Waz. He ports away, but he's very far away from Chaz. How's Chaz going to get back to his team? Waz may need a Karma. Chaz can't make his way back. He's cycloned on the way of the crane. He's trying to use that to heal through the line of sight, but Waz is still very far out of range. Finally, the way of the crane heals connect. Waz stays alive. Bit of a close call, and like I said, any mistake, and that's it for Method Black.
Yeah, look at mana though, man. Poike already around 45%, so in terms of mana, Change My Mind falling a little bit behind. Chaz now into a full KD shot. What is Acro going to be able to get done? Nice ring of peace there by Waz to back him up. Double leg sweep coming in. Valet, what are you going to do? You're going to fall. And Method Black shows they still got it, tying up this series 2-2, but now Change My Mind.
Blind block it. Can they blind lock Windwalker DK?
I think it really depends on the map.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about this composition because it seems like Method Black, they took that little bit of delay time and they said, hey, should we try beating them? And they did it. It's a good strat. Zico, why did it work?
Oh, I mean, they had a lot of pressure here, but honestly, it's a couple of mistakes as well. Villet, of course, using his trinket outside of that void shift, not going to allow him to actually use it. Chaz actually doing a decent job on the monk this time around. Waz could hold on to his touch of karma for the majority of the game. And here, a nice grip from Swapsy into that leg sweep, that Windwalker DK setup. We're going to see it in a moment on that regrowth, I believe. Shortly on the next one. Swapsy, there we go. Grip, leg sweep, boom. And Villet, no trinket, no dispersion available as well. He's going to be taken down in that stun lock chain there. A lot of it, of course, is because of map. But now, the map is really the interesting discussion here because all of a sudden, what do we see? If Method Black picks, if Change My Mind picks a big map, then they're going to have a tough time beating the DHDK with the Rusted Druid. But if they pick a small map, then this is going to happen again. And if they pick a large map and Method Black blind locks this comp, I think we're going to see the Shadow Priest Mage Rusted Druid come in as well from Change My Mind. So there's a lot of interesting things here that Method Black has to consider now on that next map, what they're going to blind lock.
Folks, we entered this series and Changed My Mind had never been able to take a single map off of Method Black. Now they have them in a corner. This next game, it's going to decide absolutely everything for the record of these two teams. Who's going to be able to win it? Is it going to be Change My Mind or Method Black? Hey, if you're coming back for this weekend to World of Warcraft, welcome. If you need someone to queue with, hit me up. I'm always looking for people because no one on the desk will queue with me. Change my mind. Finally, going to be able to have their shot to take down one of the top dogs in EU. It's been a problem throughout the year. They haven't been able to make that leap. We kind of started to call them a tier 2 team, right? And I think with the amount of teams that you have, that doesn't really make sense anymore. I think it's just first, second, and third. There's a clear divide between all of them. They're trying to make the leap to be a team that can bring them down. Method Black now going to throw a curveball.
This is interesting. So Method Black responding to Ashamane's fall of Change My Mind, and they've decided to bring in Raikou on the Frost Mage, Swapsy on the Elemental Shaman, and Chaz on the Restoration Druid. Now for Change My Mind, what are they going to do?
Rogue Mage?
They could go with the Rogue Mage. That's definitely an answer.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're going to do. Change My Mind.
They're going to do it.
Yeah, I think they could definitely walk away with this matchup.
Dude, Fried Kitty here is going to be the player I look at.
I want to say one thing, too. For Change My Mind, we may have called them a Tier 2 team, but by no means do we think they're Tier 2 players. I mean, these guys are phenomenal on the classes that they play. We just haven't seen the sort of depth that we really need to see from them in order to take down teams like Method Black, except now, looks like they actually have an answer prepared.
We just haven't seen the results, right? And when you look now, one of the reasons that we were so excited, even with just one series, it's just, this is exactly what's needed to happen. Imagine if this happened a little bit earlier. I really believe momentum is the thing that this team has needed. And I think that getting that reset right before LAN, getting that surge of victory right before LAN, they're in a position here where maybe they go on. Wildcard Gaming is a force to be reckoned with. But if they take a couple games even off of Wildcard Gaming, I get way more scared of Change My Mind at LAN. They play hard compositions for LAN as well. I think when you look at Minpoike, his leadership for playing a lot of these compositions on LAN is going to be crucial. You have Valet, who's been able to navigate very tough LAN positions before, and he's going to be paired up with Acrolos, who he's played on LAN before, so they already have that synergy. But Fried Kitty, the only player out of all the players to qualify so far that hasn't been to a LAN yet. So
He has, actually.
He has?
Yeah, he's just the only player who didn't qualify for spring last season.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I
he's
misunderstood.
He's competed with Valet a lot of times in the past, actually.
Oh, so they're fine.
They're good. They're not going to be land jitters on these guys. They know what they're doing.
He took a year break. He's going to be absolutely fine. I misunderstood that stat. I'm sorry about that, Fried Kitty. But honestly, getting to LAN and being able to have a few wins in your back pocket, that's going to be a very big deal. The question is, can they take down Ashmane's fall? This is such an important game for them, for their mindset, and for what they're going to be able to do in the year. Method Black does not want to lose the momentum that they have built up because it has been dying off. Their velocity has really started to decrease.
Well, losing to two of the possible three teams that are going to be moving forward to the spring finals is not the sort of mindset and position you want to be in for Method Black. I mean, they've been such a dominant team early on. They struggled with Wildcard Gaming. They were dominating Change My Mind, but Change My Mind may have figured out a solid answer, and this matchup has set them up for success.
Ashamane's fall may be a good place for Method Black to fall. Change My Mind, finally get an advantageous series. They can play their Rogue Mage into Method Black with an advantage. They put all of their time and effort and energy into this Rogue Mage, and they have the comp advantage. Everything is in their favor. They may finally break the curse and take a series off Method Black, have a good shot at Wildcard Gaming as well. And this is exactly the type of momentum and morale building that they needed before the spring finals.
Yep, definitely. One of these teams after this game will be marching towards the grand finals to play against Wildcard Gaming. Wildcard Gaming, I'm sure, is waiting in anticipation to see how exactly this matchup plays out. Both mages, center field, going to be building up damage with their Frostbolts early on. Sap has been found on the Swapsy by Acro. Both Druids, actually just Chaz sitting in stealth right now. Who are they going to open up on? Minpoike finding an early Cyclone. Minpoike actually playing the Balance Affinity right now, looking to avoid some of that crowd control from Raikou and extending the range on his spells. But maybe Swapsy and Raikou can make a swap on him in Minpoike and punish that offensive talent decision.
Likely Swapsy running the Spirit Wolf Spectral Recovery build on Shaman, so he's going to be focusing heavily on Ghost Wolf to survive through these attacks. And what needs to happen is that we see the Mage of Fried Kitty remove the Ghost Wolf with Spell Steal frequently during kidney shot moments. If they can coordinate that together, Swapsy is likely to go down. Currently decent damage towards Fried Kitty, but with Icy Veins activated, you would expect that Swapsy needs to be afraid. Stunned up out of Ghost Wolf. Good opportunity, but Chaz connected an Iron Bark right before that crowd control chain started. This Iron Bark is reducing a significant amount of damage, allowing Swapsy to get out of the stun and start running and easily survive. Nice read by Chaz.
Yeah, good denial of crowd control by Raikou. He got 3 sheeps on a Fried Kitty, denying his damage, denying the follow-up crowd control, and then landed a nice counter spell on Poike as well. So good plays. Raikou's going to have to play point guard for his team right now. Swapsy, for the most part, is going to be tunneled down by Acro. A lot of pressure going to be there, and Raikou is going to be the one that has to stop the crowd control, start building momentum for his team.
Fried Kitty is just getting destroyed right now, very low on health. Poike got counter-spelled on a Cyclone. His team's falling behind, now stable with Iron Bark. Fried Kitty likely to go for a push here shortly, has Frozen Orb available. Currently waiting to see when they're going to initiate the attack. They've got a big mana advantage at least, even if they want to just keep focusing on pressure. Fried Kitty under fire, triple crowd control for Method Black. Can't count them out just yet. It's match point, and they could take this. Advance for a rematch. Full Polymorph snuck in on the Poike. He has to use the Gladiator's Medallion. Gets Polymorphed again on the Gladiator's Medallion. Fried Kitty, this could be an ice block. So low on health. Huge damage from Raikou. He's been left open while Swapsy's being pressured. Still lots of damage. No defense other than ice block. Poike out of line of sight with Tranquility, manages to stabilize, but again, even the slightest mistake could cause Change My Mind the match.
Yeah, definitely. You can never count Method Black out of a matchup like this. Their backs are against the wall right now, but they're looking for that rematch against Wildcard Gaming. Full bash onto Poike, Polymorph on a Fried Kitty. Acro still trying to generate some pressure for onto Swapsy. There's the Kleptomania coming in from Fried Kitty. Taking a lot of pressure now. Swapsy getting low. Full Polymorph onto Chaz. Is he going to trinket out of it? Swapsy trying to kite away. Good Polymorph there by Raikou in order to slow Acro's damage just a little bit onto Swapsy. But Swapsy in this Ghost Wolf is just so durable. It's difficult for Acro and the Fried Kitty to really take him down outside of that kidney shot.
The main objective was to get Astral Shift without Vendetta. Now those cooldowns are not lined up, and Acro looks like he's actually making a swap, but Fried Kitty wasn't ready. He got blasted while they tried to make that swap and had to ice block. So now that Vendetta advantage is lost, and they're put behind on defensive cooldowns moving forward. Fried Kitty gets cycloned up. Mana in favor of Poike. Chaz needs to try and work on finding a drink. He's currently in cat form, far away from the fight, and is sitting down. Is anyone going to stop him? Instead, they just go for the kill. It's going to be a bit of a race. Acro gets thunderstormed away. Not able to connect. Swapsy survives the stun. Chaz drank to a mana advantage, and things are now looking good for Method Black.
Yeah, Acro getting a little bit of pressure here on Raikou, but Raikou controlling him up. Icy Veins has been used by Raikou. He's trying to get really aggressive on a Fried Kitty. If they can get the second ice block, this is going to be huge for Method Black. Fried Kitty just being a punching bag in center field right now for Swapsy and Raikou. If there's any crowd control on him in Poike, he can burst him down. Raikou with a nice blink counter spell on him in Poike, denying his Cyclone. Fried Kitty now getting aggressive with his own Icy Veins onto Raikou. This could be his first ice block in the match, but no. Chaz denies it. Good healing, as both mages are hovering around 50% health.
Lightning Lasso. Acro can't support. Lots of damage. Poike trying to deny the kill with Iron Bark. It appears to be enough. I'm almost wondering if we see Change My Mind change targets, or if they're content with continuing this chase after Swapsy. They do actually switch to Raikou. Chaz gets interrupted. Good initiation on Acro's part. This could net them an ice block if they can continue the chain. Not able to, unfortunately. Chaz now connects a lot of heals and gets a Cyclone of his own onto Poike. Fried Kitty could be in trouble. Lightning Lasso, triple crowd control, looks solid from Method Black, and despite being compositionally disadvantaged, they have good momentum. They're even on mana, and as dampening begins, still anyone's game.
Yep, definitely dampening now at 2%. If we look at mana, both Druids relatively even. There's a full bash onto Chaz. Looking for a Ring of Frost. Now they're going to be able to find a gnome, and Poike gets the Cyclone, though. And now Raikou could be in some trouble. I think Changed My Mind, they realized going after Swapsy wasn't necessarily the best idea. So at least at this point, before dampening really kicks in, they're going to be looking to control up Raikou a little bit more. But here's the Smoke Bomb attempt onto Swapsy. They changed target. Chaz wasn't able to get any heal over time effects. He runs into the Smoke Bomb. It's looking like Swapsy's going to be okay. Change My Mind has run out of damage, and Swapsy completely stabilizes.
They're running out of steam. Method Black are going to have free reign for a few moments here with no Vendetta and no Icy Veins to threaten back. This is not too good for Change My Mind. Fried Kitty falls behind. Poike tries to jump away from incoming crowd control, but now Fried Kitty's in a Lightning Lasso. Is it going to be enough to take him down? Doesn't appear to be. Raikou finally being pressured. Chaz is slowly falling behind him, but now sits down. Who's going to stop him? He's far away from the fight. Acro's trying to find him, but Not sure if he's going to be able to. He denies it. Good denial from Acro. Oh no, he got a little bit. And a little bit is a lot in this case now at 9%, moving towards 9% dampening. And Poike's going to have to try and find a drink if he wants to keep his team in this, but if he leaves the fight, Acro doesn't have Cloak of Shadows and could go down.
Yeah, definitely. Acro in a little bit of trouble in midfield right now. Chaz sitting down for another drink. Method Black in a commanding position. If Chaz can completely reset his mana, Changed My Mind may have thrown away this map and thrown away this series and thrown away this tournament. There's a lot on the line in this game number 5. Changed My Mind's going to have to try to make something happen because right now, Method Black, they're looking solid. They have all their defensive cooldowns. Change My Mind hasn't been able to really force any of them. Fried Kitty being swatted away, forced to run behind the pillar, has Raikou and Swapsy looking to push in and close out the game.
I mean, at this point, it's going to be overwhelming. Method Black have so much defense. Aside from a swap to Chaz right now with Vendetta and Icy Veins, potentially, Fried Kitty is the one that's behind. Chaz is in crowd control, and Fried Kitty is the one who is dying. That is not what you want to have happen as the team have Changed My Mind. Huge lead for Method Black right now at 15% dampening. Raikou has Icy Veins rolling. He could be doing huge damage, and Acro is trying to stall him down. Minpoike sits down. Chaz finds him. How much mana did Minpoike ultimately get? It's better than nothing. Cyclones up Chaz. Big counterattack. Even though Minpoike didn't get mana, he distracted Chaz long enough for his team to burst down and get an ice block from Raikou. Good awareness there on Minpoike's part. If they can do that again, potentially they stay in this.
Yeah, and look at Fried Kitty. Cold Snap up in 45 seconds, so that means, Change My Mind, they're going to have an opportunity to get 3 ice blocks in this game, whereas for Raikou, I don't know if it's likely we see that Cold Snap come off cooldown, so if Change My Mind can work through one more from Raikou, he's going to be such a vulnerable target moving forward. Minpoike getting bashed up. Chaz looking for a Cyclone. Fried Kitty tried to deny it, but really good positioning there by Chaz. Getting out of the line of sight, denying the interrupt, and as well laying crowd control on him. Minpoike, that's going to force him into his second ice block. And once again, Method Black, they're looking good. But luckily for Fried Kitty, Cold Snap in 10 seconds should be able to hold on.
Behind on mana, behind on ice blocks, just playing from behind, period. Change My Mind. Need to start pressuring forward. Chaz is comfortably sitting through a blind. Do they have a sap? They don't have a sap. That's devastating now for Change My Mind. They needed to get the Gladiator's Medallion. Maybe Fried Kitty can carry, securing a counterspell. Huge Comet Storm, but Acro can't connect. He's just caught in a polymorph. No dispel for him. He's too far out of line of sight. If Acro is able to make it to the target, Raikou may have had to use his second ice block. Fried Kitty, fortunately, has another one available. Minpoike trying to stall it out with Iron Bark. Triple crowd control for Change My Mind. With this push, they need to get an ice block. They aren't able. They do continue the chain. Great Cyclone by Minpoike, but Fried Kitty is once again the one under fire. Chaz is in crowd control, but Fried Kitty is dying. Swapsy is just soloing him with huge pressure. He has to ice block. Fried Kitty launched a Gladiator's Maledict right before going into that, though, for counter aggression to try and force Raikou into his, and they get it. They've tied it up.
Yep, no mages have an ice block left for quite some time. It's going to be 4 minutes, and I don't think we have 4 minutes left on this match. Raikou now into a kidney shot, and I think Swapsy, with the amount of purges he's been able to throw in this matchup, has really thrown Minpoike off. Minpoike almost completely tapped on mana, looking for a drink. He's going to be able to get it. Swapsy charging in, looking to take down Fried Kitty, basically solo him down once again. Raikou's been left behind, but he gets a polymorph onto Acro, and now he's completely fine. Minpoike recovers some of his mana, though, and that is so precious at this point in the game.
Lightning Lasso, triple crowd control. It looks solid for Method Black. All they needed is the tiniest bit more damage. Minpoike got Iron Bark out just in the nick of time. It absorbed a huge hit on that Earth Shock, and it might just be enough damage reduction for Fried Kitty to stay alive. Potentially, in desperation, if he can stay alive here, they'll have an opportunity. Cyclone on the Tranquility. That's devastating for Minpoike. He needs to time his heals perfectly out of the Cyclone. Goes for the regrowth. Gets it. Fried Kitty stabilizes.
Acro,
Change My Mind. Are they going to be able to counterattack off those stuns of Acro? It doesn't appear to be the case, but at least they stay alive, keeping their tournament dreams in it here and having one more opportunity to take out Method Black for the first time in the spring season.
Acro with a beautiful Shadow Meld re-stealth. Got the kidney shot on Chaz, cheap shot on Raikou, cheap shot on Swapsy, and that's the only reason why Fried Kitty is still alive in this match. Fried Kitty has the Icy Veins. They just need to find a moment to actually use it. Lightning Lasso looking to close out this series. Swapsy with huge burst damage with the polymorph on Minpoike. Fried Kitty looking low. Is he going to be able to hold on? What? No way! Minpoike trinkets out into another Cyclone. Beautiful Comet Storm. Acro with another.
He cloned it.
Onto Raikou. Fried Kitty now.
Stormkeeper. Zap, zap, blink, stays in it. Barely holding on. Swapsy just can't believe it. He's like, just fall over, Fried Kitty at this point. Then Poike holds out. Another lightning lasso. He bashes it. He breaks the chain. Raku still has no ice blocks. If Fried Kitty can stabilize, they've got Icy Veins. They've got Vendetta. Fried Kitty's full health. They can pull the trigger, but Change My Mind can actually do this if they can connect. Then Poike says, you did not want to drink too long. Fried Kitty's still so low. Now bashed. Fried Kitty out midfield getting blasted. Blinks at 1%. One more Icicle takes them down, and they came so close so far, but in the end, Method Black close it out.
Oh, man, what a final game to do it as well. Method Black, well played. They're going to get their rematch against Wildcard Gaming. But you look at Change My Mind, and I think that they proved yet again how strong they are on that composition in particular. Every single player having an MVP moment there. Every single player looking like one of the best. Poike forced into so many of those tough situations, though, there. Where do you think it ultimately does turn around and start to favor Method Black?
Well, it's just if they can survive the onslaught long enough, Method Black automatically basically gets the edge. Yeah, and the key factor for them is really Swapsy. He just has so much essentially unexpected burst that he can just dish out like right there with that Earth Shock. He just chunks Fried Kitty time and time again, and that pressure, even if it doesn't net them a kill, it did here, but throughout the match it didn't. And in those situations, it just helps them out so much because it allows Raikou the freedom to actually just go offensive himself, look for crowd control, instead of being the one who's pressured, having to run, having to kite. Acro just has to use his blind on Raikou for them to stay alive, has to use his vanish. Instead of getting a blind sap onto Chess, he has to use it, to just stun up everybody and allow his mage to survive a bit longer. It reduces the pressure overall. And of course, Chess played really great in this match too. He just got so much control out. It was really nice.
Yeah, I think they all looked fantastic. Let's see though now. It's going to be a third place for Change My Mind again, but this one is very impressive. I think we're really starting to see what Change My Mind will be able to do at LAN. Swapsy on that Elemental Shaman, just fantastic. Every time we do see him on that Elemental Shaman, I'm blown away. When we go up against Wildcard Gaming, there's the question of what are they going to play. I actually feel like at this point, Method Black versus Wildcard Gaming looks like a series that you enter with the same headspace that you entered Change My Mind Method Black before we saw Change My Mind strike back. Change My Mind was able to change the perception of that matchup. Even though their record over the season wasn't great, today it was. How does Method Black actually change the perception of this series against Wildcard Gaming with recent history in mind?
Well, if they anticipate the balanced Druid Elemental, then they would probably want to play Rogue Mage after seeing this series already play out with their Demon Hunter Death Knight. But if they lock in Rogue Mage, and then we see a melee cleave from Wildcard Gaming in the blind pick, then perhaps it's not so evenly fought. So it's a difficult call. It's a mind game, and it could all come down to just that.
What if we see Waz on Moonkin? Let's go for a mirror. Swapsy on the Elemental Shaman, Waz on the Moonkin.
Waz had a lot of time to work on multi-classing, and we know that he did, right? Like, that was something that was pretty apparent, was that he was going to, because beforehand, last year, Waz, he was a pirate. That was all he had to do. Did he have his warrior? I think so. Did he have his Moonkin? Yeah, he didn't need to play it as much towards the end when we saw Outlaw really take off. Now we saw him really start to invest time into the Monk. We know that he probably kept his Moonkin up to snuff. We'll have to see, though. In this next matchup, we're going to be finding out. It's a best of 7 now. It is a grand final for the EU region. You can vote in chat. Is it going to just be more of the same? Is it going to be more of Wildcard Gaming dominance in EU? Or is Method Black going to be able to get their revenge? Folks, when I woke up this morning, there was one thing I was excited for, and that was to see which teams from North America were going to qualify for LAN. But EU and Change My Mind have completely turned that around. All of a sudden, we're seeing EU's got a lot of fight left.